From the Cronkite studios in downtown Phoenix, this is Cronkite News.
Welcome to this special edition of Cronkite News. I'm Nicole Tiao. Thanks for joining us. The Cronkite School is proud to house the Donald W. Reynolds Center for Business Journalism. It provides a training ground and resource for our reporters covering money, trade, and industry worldwide. Tonight, a look back on some of our stories on the Money Beat.
1,700 cars hit the auction block at Barrett-Jackson last week. Judson Tomiko looked to see how money spent at the event helps the Scottsdale economy year-round.
Just like the machine do the work.
Jason Matthews is demonstrating how to properly buff a car, and he says his company cleaned up with their car care products at its first Barrett-Jackson auction.
And very good. Yeah, we actually pretty much hit all of our goals for sales, email metrics, things like that yesterday.
Barrett-Jackson officials say more than 300,000 people attended the 9-day event and say those people spent money in the greater Scottsdale area as well.
We actually just did a study with the city of Scottsdale, and we did $168 million of direct economic impact to the city of Scottsdale. That doesn't include everywhere else in the valley. It's basically like having the Super Bowl every year in your city, so it's really exciting.
This year's auction also set an event record in number of pre-sale tickets sold, including one to a Minnesota man who hoped to find the car of his dreams.
Well, of course, when you come to a no-reserve auction, you hope to spend as little as possible. But this car is a beautiful car. I think we're looking at maybe $70,000 to $80,000.
That type of spending can really rev up an economy.
Arizona's monthly employment reports are in for the end of 2016, and there's hope for the coming year. Cronkite News reporter Amanda Luberto was at the report release and shows us who gained and who came up short.
After the December 2016 employment report came out, the state can say that the unemployment rate in Arizona has not been this low since February 2006. In last month alone, the unemployment rate decreased, putting Arizona at under 5%.
More people enter into the labor force, those people able to find jobs, and the number of individuals in the labor force who are unemployed declined through 2016, so that was a positive.
Trade and transportation lost jobs last year, and Walls believes it could be due to people shopping online instead of in store. But for the first time in nearly a decade, construction gained jobs, reflecting the growth happening in Phoenix and Tucson. But for the year, education and health services came out on top with over 14,000 jobs. The halls of the Maricopa Medical Center are relatively quiet, clean, and nurses are nearby. Behind the curtains here are new employees ready to help.
With the important jobs that hospitals hold, it's no surprise that education and health services gained over 3,000 jobs in the month of December. There's always a need for people to save lives.
The hospital and the Maricopa Integrated Health System are almost always hiring. Sherry Stotler, Chief Nursing Officer at MIHS, says an improving economy is not the only reason for this.
You know, we're always hiring, and when you ask about longevity, we have a lot of nurses that have been here for a long time, so, you know, people are getting to that age where they are looking at retirement, so we're always bringing in that next generation.
Arizona is still below the post-recession average, but the December report shows hope for the state. In Phoenix, Amanda Luberto, Cronkite News.
A state program that helps people with disabilities establish new careers is under scrutiny. A new report says the Vocational Rehabilitation Services program could be running a whole lot more efficiently. Judson Tomiko is in the broadcast center with details on this state audit.
Right now, there are about 2,800 Arizonans on the program wait list. The report by the Arizona Auditor General's office says that number could be slashed by more than 2/3 if the program had better financial oversight.
The staff at Common Grounds is preparing for its grand opening. It's a new coffee shop in the state capitol and a new start for Darren Warlow, who is legally blind.
I was an electrician for 14 years, a journeyman electrician. I was exposed to some chemical that within 10 days after being exposed to that, I lost my eyesight.
19 years ago, after losing his vision, Darren's doctor recommended him to the Vocational Rehabilitation Services program. The Arizona Auditor General's office says the Vocational Rehabilitation program spends almost 2.5 times as much money per client than the same program in other states, spending approximately $16,200 per person versus the national average of only $6,300. On top of that, Arizona's successful rehabilitation rate is only 51%, while the national average is about 57%. Dot Reinhardt helped work on the report that made suggestions on how the program can improve.
We recommended that they develop ways for monitoring progress in terms of cost and how long clients are in the program to help ensure that they have better oversight over those costs.
While the Department of Economic Security agrees to the suggested changes, the department doesn't feel the report fully represents the program.
Over the last year, we did help, nearly 1,500 people obtain employment. And so that's 1,500 people that may not have obtained employment without our services and supports. And so while we have a lot of, we do have work to do and we recognize that, we're still doing really good work out in the field.
The Department of Economic Security did note that the metrics used to measure the successful rehabilitation rate included factors such as people who moved out of state or even died while still enrolled in the program, and a federal law just changed those metrics. The department has 6 months to make their own changes before the Auditor General's office performs a follow-up audit. In the Broadcast Center, Judson Tomiko, Cronkite News.
Intel CEO Brian Krzanich met with President Donald Trump today, where he announced Intel will be investing $7 billion into Fab 42, a vacant factory in Chandler.
Brian called a few weeks ago and said we want to do a very big announcement having to do with our country, but also having to do mostly with Arizona and the jobs and the great technology that will be produced.
And to be able to announce our $7 billion investment in our newest, most advanced factory, Fab 42 in Chandler, Arizona.
Intel says Fab 42 is expected to be the most advanced semiconductor factory in the world, and microprocessors created there would eventually power data centers and millions of smart devices worldwide. It'll take about 3 to 4 years to complete, and Intel says it will directly create approximately 3,000 high-tech jobs for company-hired engineers and technicians. But Intel says indirectly, Fab 42 could lead to 10,000 total long-term jobs in Arizona. This investment is a revival of a similar announcement made by the company in 2011. Alexa Arms is live in Chandler with the latest.
The factory has been sitting idle for years, but Intel's CEO says President Trump's support for tax cuts and deregulation have helped move things along. Of course, this isn't the first time a president has championed an Intel investment. You may recall President Obama's support the company's promise to build the $5 billion Fab 42 in 2011, and even visited the plant site in 2012. But the plant never went into full operation because of changes in the industry. Now, the project is back with an additional $7 billion investment. And this afternoon, the Chandler mayor expressed his excitement in sealing the deal, saying it's like the Super Bowl for his city.
Investment by Intel as validation that Intel wants to remain in Chandler and remain in a city that is financially stable and very proactive.
The mayor also told reporters the project is also expected to bring thousands of construction jobs to Arizona.
Arizona restaurants were recently honored with 5 James Beard Awards. Phoenix was named the best city for pizza by Travel and Leisure. And as Kanakja reports, the Arizona Office of Tourism and the Arizona Restaurant Association want to capitalize on those accolades to highlight our state as a foodie destination.
To learn a city's best dishes, you need a local guide. Expedition Foodie is a new website created by the Arizona Office of Tourism and the Arizona Restaurant Association to help out-of-towners plan their culinary adventure. Already, some restaurants are getting global attention, like Little Miss Barbecue in Phoenix.
A group of people that flew in from Dubai, they were going to be here for a week, but they flew in. This was the only restaurant that they knew they were going to eat at. It's amazing. It's really, really cool.
Little Miss Barbecue has consistently ranked as one of the top restaurants in the state, even the country. Scott Dunn says places like this boost Arizona's reputation.
Little Miss Barbecue with Chef Scott Holmes has been among the top 15 restaurants nationally, top 15 best reviewed restaurants nationally on Yelp. So our culinary reputation has become more elevated with each passing year.
Whether a public market, a barbecue joint, or a pizza place, studies show that more tourists are saying that food experiences are an important part of their vacation.
But is a city like Phoenix prepared to be a culinary destination? Veteran food blogger and critic Dominic Armota says it's getting there.
Phoenix is finding its voice when it comes to all things culinary. You know, I think it's a town that is getting more confident in the food that's being made, more confident in its culinary history.
The Arizona Office of Tourism reported that retail and bars brought in about $1 billion to the local economy in 2016, a 2% increase from the previous year.
A lot of people that fly in and they try to schedule their flight so they land around 9, then they can get their bags and be here around 10. It really kind of blows my mind sometimes.
Look for it online in the next couple of weeks. In Phoenix, Kanak Jha, Cronkite News.
Flagstaff is preparing for the first of several increases in minimum wage starting this summer, but not everyone is excited about it. I drove to northern Arizona to explore how one proposition has opened a divide. At the Flagstaff Nut House, treats are aplenty, but its owner says customers will only pay so much.
If we're able to make a profit, then yeah, we'll stay in business. But if we're not, I don't think that we'll be able to stay in business.
Things are tense for small shop owners like Nazaro Lobby after Flagstaff voters passed Proposition 414 in November. The prop aims to raise the minimum wage to $12 an hour in July, and it will continue to increase annually until it reaches $15 an hour. Olabi says that would be enough to shut his store down.
There is certainly no support for small business. That, I feel.
But supporters of the increase say the current financial track is simply not a livable income. A new state law mandates a $10 per hour minimum wage.
When we got a little bit slower right before Christmas, it started getting really hard to pay for my rent and all of the bills and utilities.
Because the proposition is such a divisive subject, many minimum wage workers in the downtown area were hesitant to talk about it. In fact, advocates on both sides say some stores opposing the increase have seen boycotts. The leader of the local Chamber of Commerce says it's time to make peace.
The most conversations we've had has been at City Hall when it's been contentious. So I'm certainly willing to sit down and speak with anybody.
Stuart McDaniel says returning to the ballot box to reverse the proposition could be the only way to close the divide. But back at the Nut House, Olabi hopes his shop and others will survive until then.
Definitely going to increase our prices. There's no doubt about it. We have to.
City Council denied opponents of the proposition a special election. Voters will have to wait until the next general election in 2018 for any changes to be made. The vast majority of low-income housing for veterans is single men, but a new project in the city of Tempe is catering to an overlooked group, veteran families. Cronkite News reporter Anthony Mitchell takes us to a much-needed construction zone.
This construction site is the first of its kind in the valley when it comes to veteran housing. These units will become homes for families.
All of our veteran projects to date have been for the single adult male veteran population primarily, and that's a lion's share of the need out there, but there is an unmet need with the veteran families.
Gorman, a real estate company that specializes in public housing, is partnering with the city of Tempe on the project, known as Valor on 8th.
We're not only going to have services in place, but also community rooms and a playground and a community garden. So I think people will really embrace wanting to be there.
Valor on 8th will provide affordable housing to 45 veteran families.
This mock-up behind me is actually a prototype of what the rooms are going to look like. It's at this level, away from the project, that smaller details, like outlet placement, are hashed out so that instead of having to fix something 50 times, you get to fix it once.
Valor on 8th will also feature an in-house partnership with Save the Family, a Mesa-based organization that provides counseling services to families on the brink of homelessness. Case coordinator Stephanie Michael says the #1 service she provides is financial counseling for those who never quite acclimated to living on their own.
You have 18-year-olds who kind of go from mom's house to the military. Most of them are married, so then, the wife kind of steps in and helps out. So a lot of times I believe that they feel lost.
And when its doors open next January, the goal of Valor on 8th is to ensure these veteran families never feel lost again. In Tempe, Anthony Mitchell, Cronkite News.
The number of homeless people in Arizona has dropped 30% since 2010. Phoenix has reached a functionally zero homelessness among veterans, but it's estimated that just more than 1,000 veterans are still living on the streets in our state.
It's a 3,000-year-old form of Chinese medicine, and some practitioners of it are located in North Scottsdale. Reporter Judson Tomiko shows us how acupuncture continues to break into the mainstream.
This woman is paying to get stuck with needles, and a Scottsdale business is hoping many will follow.
Our goal is to have over 1,000 locations open in the United States in 5 to 6 years.
Acupuncture has been around for several thousand years, but the techniques practiced here restrict the pins to lower arms, lower legs, and if you want, even the face. This way, clients can do it without even having to get undressed.
And I've been coming once a week. I've seen dramatic results. I'm not in pain anymore. I sleep better. I'm more relaxed. Don't stress about things when I could be in a stressful situation. So yeah, it's definitely helping.
Acupuncturists say that the needles they put inside your skin help stimulate the nerves, which increases blood flow, which helps heal the body naturally. L.S. Carper plans to help open franchise locations in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Colorado.
At the end of the day, if it was just about money, there's lots of other things, as you suggest, I could do. But this gives me the ability to feel good about what I do and what we do for people.
The pins used in acupuncture are 1/10 the size of a medical needle, and acupuncturists say you have nothing to fear.
I would tell them to try it, and you start light and you start easy, and they'll be surprised. There'll be 3 or 4 pins in them, and they won't even realize that they've started yet.
And from a business perspective, modern acupuncture is just getting started, looking to add up to 20 new clinics nationwide by the end of the year. In Scottsdale, Judson Tomiko, Cronkite News.
The estimated initial investment to franchise a location ranges from $150,000 to $300,000.
Grand Canyon University continues expanding their campus. Local businesses were talking to Judson Tomiko about how they hope to expand their relationship with the university.
For Grand Canyon University, new additions to the campus are something to celebrate. GCU held a high-profile rally where it unveiled the community hub off of 27th Avenue and Camelback Road. Complete with new office buildings, a restaurant, and a renovated hotel. But for GCU, building in this community was much more than a business prospect.
The question is, do you keep it here, or do you take it someplace where there's a lot more prosperity? As a Christian university, it became, we decided that it was our greater mission to put it here.
However, not everyone in the community is excited for the changes.
Some local businesses are complaining that Grand Canyon University tore down homes and apartment complexes of long-established customers to create their new building, but other businesses are saying they just need to learn to adapt to change.
And with those adaptations, businesses just across the street from the hub are looking for some additional support.
I would like to see GCU reach out to us and tell us how we might be able to better work together as neighbors, and perhaps some way we could try to work out where we would get more business.
However, not all students see the area as a great place to shop.
There's not as many stores that I shop around here.
GCU notes they are reaching out to help the businesses in the area.
We have a group that is led by one of our professors who are providing free services to the businesses in this community to help them understand more about how to market, how to sell.
With all the new buildings, old businesses are hoping their future interactions with Grand Canyon University will be a bright one. In Phoenix, Judson Tomiko, Cronkite News.
A study performed by Elliott D. Pollock and Company estimated the new community hub will bring almost $10 million into the local economy.
Interest in vegetarian and vegan diets is on the rise. And with this growing trend, many new options like food festivals of bakeries and even meal prep services are now catering to this growing community. Alexa Arms has more on the meatless movement.
These vegan falafels were so popular that people had to be turned away. But there were also plant-based tacos, kettle corn, and many other delicacies to choose from at the second annual Vegan Food Festival in downtown Phoenix.
It's insane because even 3 years ago, it wasn't nearly this big. And now it's big enough to sustain a festival where thousands of people come.
Vegan chef and author Jason Wyrick has also seen a significant increase in his meal prep services.
My business increases by at least 50% every year, which is an insane growth rate. I mean, there are some years where my business just doubles.
And more businesses, like the vegan bakery Nami, are catering to the trend.
When me and my girlfriend come downtown, we always find these cool new vegan restaurants.
There are many reasons why people choose to go vegan.
I really wanted to do it more for the animals and also the added bonus of health benefits.
While the interest in becoming vegan is definitely growing, some people are still missing out on key nutrients.
The research I've conducted in vegetarian diets, there are concerns. I mean, people have to be very careful that they get their vitamins and minerals. When you omit a whole food group from your diet, which is animal-based products, meats, you are narrowing some of your nutrient intakes.
It's important to keep some of the key nutrients in mind.
Nutrients like B12, vitamin D, those are very much problem nutrients.
Another thing to keep in mind, nutritionists say vegans are happier than meat eaters. In Phoenix, Alexa Arms, Cronkite News.
3% of the U.S. population is vegetarian, while only 1% is vegan. There are more than 396 vegan-friendly restaurants in Arizona. More than 10 million Arizonans took staycations in 2015, and the State Office of Tourism is pushing for more. The road trip vacation is especially attractive when hotel rates are low in the summer. Reporter Coworking talks about this growing trend.
The Arizona Office of Tourism wants people to hit the road.
Arizona is a staycation destination year-round, and this time of year, I think, is one of the best times to take a staycation.
Arizonans made up 28% of overnight stays in the state in 2015, according to the Tourism Office, a number that increased by 3%. Shivani Palagotati says that her family can do staycations spontaneously.
You're not at home all just on your computers and your phones and like worrying about all sorts of other things. You're kind of just there with the main intent to bond and relax and kind of just, forget the everyday stressors.
According to the U.S. Travel Association, 55% of Americans did not take all of their vacation time last year. The Arizona Office of Tourism says that if Arizonans planned even a local vacation, it could benefit our economy.
What we found in that study is if the entire country, if everyone in the U.S. had used all of their vacation days, Arizona's share of the spending would be $1.5 billion.
The tourism office classifies a staycation as 50 miles away from home, but rest and relaxation could be much closer.
You don't have to get on a plane, you don't have to park your car, it's all less expensive. If you have to go home and feed the goldfish, you can go home and be back at the hotel in 20 minutes.
But Arizonans looking for deals will likely have to wait a few more months. Snowbird season and spring training coincide this month, and hotel rates are at their high. In Phoenix, Coworking, Cronkite News.
Maricopa and Pinal County are the most popular for tourism and hosted over 22 million visitors in 2015.
In Phoenix, women-owned businesses are growing at 1.5 times the average rate. A new co-working space geared towards supporting women in business would like to see that number grow even more. Reporter Coworking talks about how the co-working space trend and how that can make an impact for women and the local economy.
Entrepreneur Felina Hansen has a goal.
My goal for HeraHub is to support over 20,000 women in the launch and growth of their business by 2020.
Phoenix has seen a 64% increase in women-owned businesses since 2002, according to American Express Open. But Felina Hansen, founder of HeraHub, hopes to help even more women when she opens her co-working space.
So there's tons of women out here that are doing amazing things, that have small businesses, that want to grow their businesses, and have great ideas that want to start.
HeraHub will be joining multiple other co-working spaces here in the Valley, including Cahoots. Cahoots was founded in 2010 and focuses on diversity, while HeraHub will focus on promoting women entrepreneurship in Phoenix. Cahoots founder Jenny Kuhn welcomes the competition and says more co-working spaces can help the local economy.
Yeah, when we started, it was all about educating people on the co-working movement. Now it's really about educating them on how you grow better businesses, how this is a huge benefit to a city, how this is creating jobs and community and better businesses in general.
The president-elect of the National Association of Women Business Owners in Phoenix says that a space created for women can also help them find their footing.
For women who are just getting started, having a place where they can go and connect and collaborate with their tribe or discover what their tribe is.
By the end of 2017, the number of co-working spaces is projected to increase by 14% globally, according to industry magazine Desk Mag. HeraHub plans to open this year. In Phoenix, Coworking, Cronkite News.
Hair Hub is scouting locations and hopes to open in the next few months. The company is also looking to expand in Los Angeles, Austin, and Stockholm.
States like Arizona often fight to land the next big tech company, but corporate HQs don't come without controversy. Cronkite News Los Angeles reporter Lauren Negrete takes us to Venice, California, the headquarters of Snap Incorporated. Some neighbors aren't happy with their beach town turned tech town.
The locals say their neighborhood is not a tech park. And instead of enjoying the beach, they're out protesting Snap Inc. Its founder, Evan Spiegel, wanted his headquarters in Venice for the community vibe.
He said he wanted an office on the beach. What I'm seeing now is he wanted a whole beach to be his office campus.
Cross says that sense of community and culture has been lost as Snap has grown into a bigger entity since its start in 2011, with 1,000 daily users to now over 100 million, with a market value of $34 billion. Other residents say the expansion of the company has come at the cost of local businesses.
His depiction of Snapchat as the Grim Reaper and 30-plus properties throughout Venice that are now gone. They've displaced small businesses and residents. Half of these properties are on the boardwalk.
I want them to stop developing, stop buying up in all the land grabbing that they're doing around here.
In a statement, Snap Inc. says, "No one could have anticipated how quickly we've grown and has already begun focusing our future growth outside of Venice." The LA Times have reported that Snap Inc. may be expanding to Santa Monica. In Venice, Lauren Negrete, Cronkite News.
Thanks for joining us for this special edition of Cronkite News. For more multimedia coverage, go to cronkitenews.azpbs.org and click on the Money tab.